Good morning, my little mashed potatoes. How are you? It's wee Paddy from across the shock, and this is a wee sort of look back over my YouTube creator career. I haven't made the title yet, so I can't give it to you. You'll have seen it anyway now. But and the reason I'm doing it is because it's not that it's a sad day, but it's just something that happens to people. Like, I'm not financially well off. I have a what I think is a really good budget of about £150 a month now that I can spend on knives. And that's made up between AdSense, which has got smaller, much smaller recently, plus my what I put aside that I can have for my hobby. So it's about £150 a month. Don't always spend that much, but that's what I have. And I can save up for most knives that I want. But there also comes a point that, not being a YouTube creator, and part of my YouTube um, channel is showing my collection as well. And that's what these are. These are basically eye candy. This is where I'm heading for me in my collection. These are all slip joints, but that's not all my collection. These are just my, if I call it my personal collection, knives that I want, that please me to look at, use, and just fondle. But I've always been like that, and I'm still like that. I love all sorts of knives. And it wasn't that long ago, probably just over a year ago, that I got a Chris Reeves, which I never thought I would get. When you start off, I didn't have the budget I have now. That came with retirement and pensions. But so I started off very budget, and now I have a collection of higher end, especially slip joints, knives. So how do you get there if you haven't got a huge budget? Because there's a couple of these knives here that are £275, both of these. They're expensive knives. And I bought them within a month of each other. How do I do that on a budget of 150? It's dead simple. You have to sell to get what you want. I sell, trade, and buy through that medium now more than I've ever done. Like, all my GECs are now nearly bought on trades or swapped in trades. Add a few quid to some that you wanted to get. And you do that with the knives that you're particularly fond of than you want to get for your collection. But this is a sort of a farewell review of this knife. And the reason I'm saying farewell, because this doesn't belong to me anymore. This has gone to one of my subs over here in Northern Ireland. And to be honest with you, I wanted to sell it to this man. I'm not going to give his name away. He's just Paul. That's all we'll call him. Paul. And the reason I wanted it to go to him is because during my journey in this last couple of years since I've known Paul, he has bought an awful lot of my knives from my collection. We've got a friendship now. He comes down and he buys them, and I think I sell them to him at a really reasonable price. But it's enabled me to buy and add money to my budget to buy these beauties. So financially, I'm no better off than I was a year ago, but I'm able now to get these knives because I have sold off knives in my collections or traded them towards knives like this. One of these was a trade for another very good knife of my own, to get up towards the price of that. And that's how it works. You can't be, if you want longevity in this YouTube, you can't be too sentimental about what knives you've got. I have sold off a large collection of my locking knives. And look, the simple reason is I'm in the UK, the knife laws are terrible. Yes, I can be bold. I'm a pensioner. Nobody's going to really stop me in the street. I'm a 60-odd-year-old man. I'm not going to get stopped, and I could carry them. But why take that risk? Why take it? A while ago I would have done, but I've stopped now. I've turned that corner as, what's the point? Why lose a knife just through a stupid risk? So my knives are for like I don't buy knives for defense. I buy them because I love the artistry in them. I love how they look. I love how they make me feel. They make me feel good. And if your hobby's not making you feel good, it's very hard to have a long life as a YouTube creator, because I've always said this: passion. I'm drawn to people who have passion, not necessarily the best speakers in the world, although they are really good to listen to, not necessarily the best collections in the world, and some of them are very budget, but somebody's passion makes a £10 knife attractive to me enough that I'll still go and buy £10 knives. Do I need to? No. Do I like sharing them with my subs? Yes, because that is my passion, is sharing my love of these sticks with my subscribers. And this has to go, and it's not breaking my heart, but I'm so sad to let it go. But I had gone a bit mad and bought too many things with my excess money that had sort of ran out of my saved up money. So the quickest way to get some of that back was to sell off this knife, because now I sold it for what I believe is an incredibly reasonable price to Paul, because he's a boy who supported me um, financially. No, not financially, but he has bought knives off me that have enabled me to grow what I, in my eyes, is an amazing collection of knives, of slip joint knives. I have an amazing collection, and every day I'm grateful for that collection. I still have a collection of locking knives, which I love. But this has got to go. I didn't want this knife to go. I've sold a few other ones off that were as pricey as this. In fact, some of them were twice the price of this, that I had to let go of. But this, to me, is the best folding knife I have ever had. Now, is it, look, it's titanium, it's S35VN, which isn't particularly heat treated fantastically, but it's, for me, it's perfectly adequate, adequate, and it's perfectly serviceable, and it strops up great. It's a super knife all round, as just an EDC knife for your everyman, not a working man, but your everyman. This is the best knife I've ever had. And why is it the best knife I've ever had? The design, this feeling. By the way, I know I get sidetracked, but people often say they don't like these thumb studs because it hurts their finger if they do it repeatedly, putting their finger on top. Here's a simple answer to those people who say that. Don't put your finger on top. Put your finger just like that and push. And it is so easy to push open. Behind the camera, that seemed very difficult. But I just put my finger at the back side of it and just push. It is, when they say, it's hydraulic, it is. It's the most beautiful knife. But it's the sound this knife makes, especially when it opens. It's a very simple sound, but it's just beautiful, and it's secure because you'll have taken this apart. You've seen the big washers. There is I need to tighten that. There's a little bit of wobble. I wish I could prepare for my videos. Oh, for goodness sake, Stephen, have I got an 8 here? No, I haven't. Let me see, where have I got? I'm going to have to do this because it'll do my head in if I don't. Is it a size 8? I think it's a size 10, isn't it? Yeah, or 10 or 15. No idea. Let me just see what it is. I think it might even be a 15. It is. Because I was saying, and you really need to do this both sides of a Chris Reeve, but I'm going to just try that. There we go. There is no movement in this blade. I play with this knife an awful lot, and I tend not to put the blue lock stick in it that much because I do like just opening it up. And I had it, I have it nice, and it's at a stage where I can flick the knife out, which you're not supposed to. And to be honest with you, I don't do. I just sit at night opening and closing this because the feeling of doing that is really nice. I don't find this annoying. It's a little bit sharp, but Yeah, there we go. The lockup has not changed since I've had this. It's been exactly the same. The joy I get when I take this out and use it is second to none. It's just a beautifully well made knife with high tolerances, very easy to set up. The blade centering just doesn't come off center at all. It's been like that since I've got it. It has never moved. I love it. And I'm really, really sad to see it go. But when I take that sadness away, what I managed to get with the income that I get from this, I'm able to clear the little bit of debt. And when I say debt, it's my own debt, my own savings. I need to put that back into it again. Um, and the joy that I know this knife's going to somebody who'll enjoy it. I got this second hand myself, so there was snail trails on it, and I've put snail trails on it, but I would never send it back to get redone. Because of the snail trails on it, I used it. I didn't abuse it. I put one edge on it and I've stropped it since then. The edge is beautiful on it. The blade has no marks at all. The blade coating on these is absolutely fantastic. But you get the snail trails here. But that to me is life. You know, that shows that this knife has been used and been loved. It hasn't been abused because I don't. No, you could abuse it because it's strong enough, but why would you at that price? That's my head. I have other knives that I'll abuse, that are an awful lot cheaper than that. So that's it. But longevity is being able to move your stock around, letting go of what you got. And I've only just been learning this. I'm tech. I'm not tech savvy. So I've only learned about the trading and buying and how beneficial it is. This last probably year and a half, 2 years, I've really started to sell and trade. And that's made a huge difference because my collection can change without me having to outlay a lot of money. And that's a joy. I have so many knives in this box and this I have a box up either side of here with slip joints that I haven't reviewed. I have enough knives to review here for donkeys. But I like to buy little cheaper knives and show them in the channel as well. I like to mix it up because I still get a buzz at finding little knives that are, just super quality knives, like QSP penguins and things like that. This is just a cracking knife. Jean micarta on it. It is beautiful. Other ones that I've got that. Here's a simple little knife. It's a really lovely rough micarta. It's a nail neck open, but it's a liner lock. And these wee knives from AliExpress, this takes a wicked edge. It is in 440C, costs about 20 quid or something, maybe even less than that. But what a beautiful knife to take out. I mean, it's a really beautifully made knife. With a little liner lock, 20 quid, you can't beat that. You just can't beat the quality for that sort of price. I've reviewed that on my channel. So I still like buying the cheaper knives, and at the minute I'm into buying older slip joint knives that have got a bit of character, that've been used. Some of the blades are well worn. I don't know, have I done the video? No, I've a video gone up this weekend on a knife I was doing a bit of restoration with. I haven't gone through that whole slow progress, but I've showed the before and after and what I was going to do with the knife. That's coming up this weekend after this video. I think it's the next one that's in line. This is just an off-the-cuff one because this is the last time you're going to see this on my channel. It's funny, the boy I'm buying it off, he's paying me off over 5 months, just a small figure over 5 months. And I'm so happy it's going to him, but it's going to matter. He doesn't even want it until he's paid for it. That's a sort of a nice man that he is. I'm willing to give it to him today. I have no problems giving it to him, but I think he wants to wait. But whenever he has, it's here. I'm just sort of letting him know in this video it's his because I will not be using it again. I'd asked him permission to make this last video on it, and he had said yes. So it was on Instagram yesterday. It's on this video today. This knife will not be seen again on my channel. Now, will I miss it? Yeah, I'll miss it. It's a gorgeous knife. And, there's more up-to-date, modern-looking knives out there. You know, the price range is now getting extremely high on folding knives that are of titanium and a good blade steel. It's getting up to £300, £400, £500 just to get what they're calling now the run-of-the-mill. You know, this is the high end of the knife collecting game. So they're up there. You can get slip joints at that price too. Not my cup of tea yet, but I'm going to say yet always, because I never thought I would pay £275 for a slip joint. I have a couple of times. But this I'm going to miss. This, you know, if you're just starting out and you don't have a lot of cash, save for this. Or save, or when you get enough knives and you've used them, you've reviewed them, trade them off, put them towards your money. This is one, the only knife that I think I've ever really said this to. This is one I think all serious collectors need to have through their hands till they feel the difference, because until you get this knife in your hand, you will never know how good it feels. You will never know how good it feels. Now, these are about £350 here in the UK to buy. And that's just the bog standard model. And to be honestly, you know, all day long, it's just, it's that good. It is that good. It is that good, and it deserves that sort of money for the time, effort, and love that has been put into these knives. They've been tweaked and changed over the years. This, I believe, is the best action. This, I believe, has the best. This is the easiest one, probably, if you want to set or change the setting on it. You can adjust this one because of these big bearings, or not bearings, should I say, the brass washers. They're not even brass. God, I am so bad. I don't know. They are just beautiful big washers inside here. Huge. They take up the whole of the inside. So you don't get any. When you just tot it up, there is no movement whatsoever. They are a beautifully precision made knife that I've thoroughly enjoyed having in my collection. Will I have another one? I don't know. If it came to the point that I had my fill of this and go back again and go back more heavily into higher end folding knives, locking knives, I would definitely have one, without a doubt. Because if that's my elk, I believe this is one that everybody that can should have a go at getting, because it is just fabulous. And where's my collection going now? It's going mostly into slip joints, but again, I'll still have my budget knives, my brother knives. If Ganzo come up with anything there, I would go back and try them again. Haven't bought one for ages. Still got quite a few. Still love them. No change in my love for them. There's new budget knives coming out, which are sort of hitting my eye more than the high-end knives. There seems to be quite a few, but I still like the older knives. You know, titanium, S35 VN, one of the best in my opinion. Probably the same problem with this as in this. Titanium is beautiful. This one was a gift and was anodized for me. This is S35 VN, which is quite soft. But as in every man's knife, it is perfect. And has lasted me years, and it's been used a lot, carried a lot, and it still looks as good today. Doesn't get hard used. It just gets everyday use. A beautiful, beautiful knife. I still have this. It's not as if I'm doing without. Another one that I got sort of quite early on, that one was from Tony Meador. This one was from Love Them Knives, right at the back, years ago. He sent me this over. It was when M390 was sort of hitting the marketplace, and he sent me this. It was my first really high-end blade steel. And this is the Kaiser Shoal, the small version. Titanium, beautiful ground blade, absolutely gorgeous. Before this murder grind was really popular. But this is a lovely little knife. It's about probably very similar in size to that. There we go. Pivot to pivot. There's not much difference in the handle size. A little bit longer on the blade, but I'm talking less, about 1/4 of an inch at the most. but a beautiful. So I'm not going to do without knives. I have beautiful knives here. It's just that this one had to go. And I try, if I'm selling a higher end one, it'll not be a gifted knife or one that's been given to the channel. It'll be one that I traded for this with my own knives. I hope this is making sense. As much as this is eye candy, that's the direction my main collection is going. But to get rid of something like this is, not a sad day. It's a bit of blooming metal. But it is sad for my collection that I'll not be able to pull this out and use it as a comparison. But I'm quite happy to let it go to... Do you know the person who's getting this is going to love this knife? I know him enough to know that he's going to love this, and it will probably never leave his collection. He's not a YouTuber. He's just a knife lover. And I know he is going to love this and use it. And that's why it's going to him. So there you go. That was probably a lot of oil waffle. But I just want to know, my longevity is passion. I watch people with passion, and they don't have to be great speakers. I just have to feel... There's a feeling you get when you watch somebody that it's not just a... It's not even just a hobby. It's a thing inside. It's so hard to quantify what it is. But if you've got it, you know it anyway. And if you watch people like that, you know it. And I hope that I'm bringing that to my subs. And by the way, I have a 10,000 sub. But it's going to be, I've changed it now. And I'm doing it in this video. It's changing now. It's 10,100. Because at 10,000, you get an awful lot of people come to your channel to see if there's going to be a giveaway. And then they go away again. I don't want them to get the knives. So I'm going to make it at the end of this video. It'll be 10,100. If you've watched this video, you'll understand when it comes to 10,000 why there isn't a draw. I have picked the 3 knives and they are beautiful. Do you want to see them? It's just for those who stuck around at the end of this video. This is the first one. This is a Taylor Eyewitness in burl. Beautiful file back. Beautiful knife. An absolutely stunning slip joint. It hurts me giving this away. That's a knife that I bought and paid for with my own cash. This next one is the Artisan. Look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? Titanium carbon fiber inlay. I think it's M390. Or is it S35 VN? It's M390. So this is a high-end Artisan. And that will be a joint first prize. So the winner can pick either a slip joint or this. And the third prize is going to be the CRKT home front. It's the one you can take apart with a little twizzle at the back and a knob at the front. Beautiful, beautiful knife. And the reason them last two, the Artisan was given to me by a subscriber. I have spoke to him and asked him if I can use it in my giveaway. Because what I wanted to do, the slip joint I paid for with my own cash. The second knife, the Artisan, was given to me for the channel by this subscriber, Jason Guilfoyle. And the joy I got when I received knives from him, he sent me a clatter of knives, which I was over the moon for at the time. There were knives I couldn't afford to buy for the channel. And I asked him, could I give one away? Because I want somebody else to get that pleasure of getting a knife that they wouldn't necessarily spend the money on. And that's the reason that's in the giveaway. And the last one was a company had sent me. So again, that's the 3 parts of your sort of collecting career and moving, trading. This is what you have to do. So I think there are really 3 really good prizes. I would like to win either one of them. So you've seen them, and you're the only ones that will see them until 10,100. Take care. Paddy's away. All the best. Bye now.